So hello everyone, hello to our fans around the world. I am here, it's your pundit Jack Huxley here hosting one of our interviews, and today we have the wonderful Kerry Almond with us. Kerry, welcome.
Hi.
Um, we are obviously just going to discuss with you a bit about Thunder's season, about the season for yourself and how you're feeling ahead of the semi-finals happening tomorrow. So I understand you guys are setting off to travel down to London in about an hour, is that right?
Yeah, I'll be leaving home in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. Meeting the
Okay.
girls at about 5:15. So yeah.
Nice. And then just quiet night in the hotel tonight, ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah. So Debbie, our MD, our boss, she's organised a local company to provide us with some excellent food on the coach. So we've got microwaves and stuff. So we'll eat on the bus, get down to the hotel, and then just chill out from there, depending on what time it is. There may be some of the girls might go out for a walk or whatever, or most people will just chill in the room and just see what's on the telly.
Yeah, perfect. And the season as a whole, obviously for yourself, retired at the end of last year, then you were back. How did that kind of come about? Did you get a word from Karen, or did you just not
Um,
stay away?
so I actually work with Debbie, who's the MD. She runs Network UK, who I work for, and she just pulled me to one side one day and she was like, "We need you to play." I was like, "Okay," because I hadn't played for so long. I hadn't played since sort of the beginning of February in 2020. Had knee surgery, went through all the COVID lockdowns and rehabs, trying to rehab through the first lockdowns here in the UK. Um, and then when she told me, I was like, well, I'll go to training. I'll see if I can run, because that was the big thing. I'd literally done no impact work. The only thing I'd done has been some like box jumps and things like that at the gym. So got to training. Tracy sent me like a little speed and agility course, about half an hour or so. I literally did about 40 minutes of training. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, really. I had 3 weeks of training before the first game, so it was
Wow.
a pretty quick return to play.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, considering that, what a season. What's the vibe been like in the camp this year, and how are you guys feeling ahead of this weekend?
Do you know, it's been brilliant. It was really easy for me to slot back in, obviously, as I know most of the girls anyway, and then most of the newer members of the squad, the younger girls, they've come up through the pathway, so I know who they are. Been in and around them, and and players like Ellie and McCormick, she's been in and around that squad for quite a while. So it's been really good this year to kind of build in with her. But the vibe, the split between the older, more experienced players and those younger players is pretty even. It's almost 50-50 across the board. So it's been interesting. Been learning some new things from the younger girls, and obviously we've just been trying to pass on our experience to them. And it's been really fun. Actually, it's been one of the best years that I certainly remember.
Hmm. I'm glad you mentioned the younger ones actually, because I was going to ask. Obviously, we've seen in quite a few of your games this year, maybe the ones where it's been slightly more comfortable towards the end in terms of the scoreline. A lot of the younger pathway girls who we maybe wouldn't have seen in the past getting on the court. How helpful do you think that's been, A, for them and their development, but also for you guys as a team to just be able to have a bit more rest and not have to have that high intensity kind of, what is it, 48 minutes now every week?
I think it's massive. I mean, we managed to get, I think, 4 debuts in that first game against Sirens way back in February. So all of those girls came on in that last quarter. So they all, got a taste of it in that first game. And then through there, we've had Liz come in and make her debut. And then in recent weeks, we've had the two Millies and Sanders and Roscoe. So we've had like 7 debuts this year, which is absolutely massive for any team. And for us to be able to do that and still be where we are now, I think is testament to our pathways. Everyone talks about the Thunder pathways and how good they are, and I think this really shows it, because every single one of those girls has come through that pathway at certain times. So it's been great that we've been able to build leads for them to be able to come on, but equally that we've been able to throw them on there when we've needed that change up. Ellie has come on and she's done an absolutely magnificent job this year. She's been thrown into a lot of games this year, because Emma was out for quite a while, and she's done a fantastic job no matter where she's played, whether that's been at goal defence, goalkeeper, or even at wing defence, like we saw her against Lightning a few weeks ago. And I just think it's just created such a good atmosphere that everyone's played, and no one's left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mean, we'll come on to Bath in a minute, but earlier in the season, obviously, there was a couple of losses in consecutive weeks. And they were talking in your most recent game, the final Sirens game. The commentators were saying that when they interviewed Karen Gregg, your coach, she was saying, she seemed very calm, very relaxed about it. It was sort of like, you have to lose some games. We lost games the last time we won the league, etc., etc. Has that always been has the mentality always been in the camp, top four's our aim, top four's what we're going to get? Has there ever been any doubt of that, or how's it been?
I think when you start a season, the ultimate aim really is getting to top four. From there, anything can happen. That is what you want. And that's where we've always looked. And I think a lot of people outside the camp looked at those two losses against Bath and Was in consecutive days, and they were like, well, what's going on with them? Have we not found our right team? But I've always felt as a player that you learn an awful lot more when you lose a game than when you win a game, because you learn how you're going to react. And we took those two losses on the chin. We held our hands up. We said against Bath specifically, we were not good enough. We got absolutely tanked in that game, but we learned more about ourselves from that. We learned what we can do and where we can grow. And you have to lose games in a season. A few years back, we went through the entire season, didn't lose a single game, got to semi-finals and lost. So we lost one game in a season and came third. So, and that losing at that stage doesn't give you any time to grow. Losing when we did in rounds, I think it was 5 and 6, it gave us ample time through the season to implement new tactics, build on new combos, and it was probably the perfect time to lose a game if you ever want to lose games. And then I think, as obviously everyone's been seeing, we've been growing, we've been building, and yeah, we lost against the Bath, but we lost by 3 and we pushed them all the way. And then these last couple of weeks, we've just kind of, we've got that momentum going. And I think if you're going to lose, that's when you need to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And so you've led perfectly onto my next question, which was about Bath. So obviously, I think you're right. I think it was week 5, lost by 25 goals, which I think everyone was a bit, surprised by, including you guys, I'd imagine. But then by the time you played them again, only lost by 3 goals. Do you feel like, we're kind of moving in the right direction and tomorrow you'll be beating them by 20, or what's the feeling?
I'm not going to be as bold as to say by 20. Game, and it's going to be the small margins that are, is going to win that game. But yeah, I think to do a 22 goal turnaround in such a short space of time really is pretty massive. We didn't expect to lose the game the way we did, but we did. Like I said, we got time. Bath were brilliant in that game. They're absolutely supreme, and we were just not at the races at all. But we came back, we righted the wrongs, and the most recent Bath game was just, we fought all the way, and we just made a couple of errors here and there that we're not making now. So tomorrow, we'll see what happens.
And obviously in the top 4, you've got Lightning, who obviously have Mary in there as their shooter. You have Leeds, who, normally have Donnell Wallen, but obviously she's not able to play. And then you guys have Joyce, who tend to kind of stay mainly in the circle. But then when it comes to Bath, you've obviously got Kim Borgia and Sophie Drakeford-Lewis, who are just never stop moving. How are you feeling about playing against them tomorrow?
Do you know, it's certainly weird playing against that type of shooting circle now, because most teams tend to go for your holder and then your more mobile goal attack. But it's a fun challenge. We've got plenty of tricks up our sleeve, as I'm sure that they have as well. It's going to be a test and a real battle in there, but what will be. We'll do our best in whatever combo it is out there, and they'll do their best. But I think we'll come out. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. I won't make you give away any tactics.
No.
So a couple of final things. Firstly, you personally, is this it now? Are we retiring again, or have we got a reinvigorated love for it now?
Everyone keeps asking me this. I'm like, can I just season out the way with first? Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously those conversations have not taken place yet, because we're very focused on these next 2 days. So we'll see what the weekend brings. We'll see how I hold up physically. And we'll see what Karen, Tracy, and Gabs want to do for next season. So it's, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Well, no rush to make a decision. I said two more. Now it's two more. Firstly, obviously got some fans in the Copper Box this weekend. How big is that, and how incredible is it that we're able to have fans again in the stadiums?
Yeah, I feel like you don't really know how much you miss them until they're not there, and then Wakefield was weird. It was an interesting venue, and it worked really well, to be honest. And after a while, you did kind of start to get used to it. And then when the fans come back, you're a bit like, oh. It was a bit of anxiety that first week about what it's going to be like with them back. But to be honest, they've all been brilliant. Whether they're supporting you, whether they're not supporting you, at the end of the day, they're there to support netball, and that's the main thing. It's great having them back. It's great having a bit of noise. And we've got a small bus load of them going down tomorrow as well, so that should be good for the weekend. There'll be a bit more noise in the Copper Box this weekend because they're all going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say, in my experience, the Thunder fans are normally the noisiest lot with their drums and everything. And yeah, final question. So obviously, you guys will be there in the final on Sunday. Who do you think you're going to be playing against?
If I was a betting person, I'd put my money on Loughborough. I think they've got the momentum. Leeds have done brilliantly this year, coming back in, dealing with all the injuries they've had to deal with, a new team, new combos. But I just think that 4-week gap I think they've had now since they've last played, obviously having their isolation and training, I think that may well show. And I think Loughborough bounced back from defeat to us really well against Bath on Monday, so I think they've got a bit of momentum, and I think they've probably just got a little bit more experience as well of finals netball because they've all been there, done that, and been in and around it for the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I think I'd bet on Loughborough.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Kerry. Thank you for your time. And we wish you the best of luck this weekend. Hopefully, in a couple of days, we'll see you with your hands on the trophy again, and hopefully on the court again next season as well.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I presume Simone will